Speaking of which, Donald Trump's campaign has been so abortive, so misguided, so obviously a total joke that there's increasingly speculation that the entire thing is a goof or a publicity stunt or even an attempt to help Hillary Clinton win the 2016 election, as a number of our viewers have suggested over the last few weeks. Last week, I told you the story of Trump's former super PAC director. This is a pro-Trump super PAC that did not directly work for the Trump campaign. She described a meeting that she had at Trump Tower where the idea was never for Trump to win the Republican nomination, but rather to come in second, maybe with around 10 or 15% of the delegates, and to get really great publicity. And maybe surprisingly to some, the number of low information voters and extremist voters that Trump has been able to catalyze has put him in the lead for the Republican nomination, at least as of now in early April. Last week was really, really bad for Donald Trump. He suggested that the Geneva Conventions be dismissed. He said he doesn't want to rule out using nuclear bombs on Europe. He gave 3 different positions about abortion in a 2-hour period, one being that women who have illegal abortions should be punished. And then his campaign manager was arrested and charged with assault for his altercation with reporter Michelle Fields. And Trump's response was, at best, weird, and at worst, some form of victim blaming. So more and more journalists and political insiders now are really questioning whether Trump realizes that he's just way over his head and is sabotaging his own campaign. So let's take a look at a couple of quotes that came out over the last 48 hours or so. We have the quote from last week, first of all, from Stephanie Sigilski. This is that former communications director of the Make America Great Again super PAC. She said, I don't even think Trump thought he would go this far, and I don't even know that he wanted to, which is perhaps the scariest prospect of all. What was once his desire to rank second place to send a message to America and increase his power as a businessman has nightmarishly morphed into a charade that is poised to do irreparable damage to this country. Wow. Next quote about this self-sabotage from John Fund of the National Review. To all outward appearances, Trump seems to be engaged in a form of self-sabotaging behavior in which people both move toward a goal and then from deep within do things to defeat themselves. Next quote on this issue from Sherry Jacobus, a Republican strategist who says she met with Trump about being his communications director. I believe Trump senses he is in way over his head and doesn't really want the nomination. He wanted to help his brand and have fun, but not to be savaged by the Clintons if he's the candidate. He wouldn't mind falling short of a delegate majority, losing the nomination, and then playing angry celebrity victim in the coming years. I doubt Trump is actively trying to self-sabotage, but there is no doubt, Lewis, that he is feeling the pressure now that it's down to 3 and he doesn't know anything. Build the wall, make America great again works pretty well when there's 17 candidates, many of whom don't even have a couple of good talking points. It works okay when there's 10 Republican candidates. It starts to falter a little bit when there's 5 or 6. And when there's 3 Republican candidates, not knowing anything about anything really starts to become a liability.
And you are the candidate that gets all the airtime, all the interviews, and everyone wants to have you on camera because it's good for ratings and because they're waiting for the next time you slip up inevitably and say something outrageous. Makes sense.
So yeah, it has always felt like this was about Trump's brand, but just imagine if he became president sort of accidentally because of how many clueless voters there are in the United States who don't see that this would be a laughingstock. It would be a bigger laughingstock than George W. Bush. And that's the name my mind goes back to. If George W. Bush can get himself elected or get himself close enough that Florida Secretary of State Katherine Harris, in conjunction with the Supreme Court, can put him in the White House, then it's not off the table that Donald Trump could also win. Send me your thoughts on this. I'm on Twitter at @Pakman. Lewis is on Twitter at @LewisMotamedy. Warby Parker is offering a free 5-day home try-on to give you the opportunity to check out their glasses. I personally wear Warby Parker glasses when I'm not wearing my contact lenses, and I also started with one of these free at-home try-ons of 5 pairs of glasses. You can get your free home try-on and support the David Pakman Show at warbyparkertrial.com/TDPS. I don't really like going into glasses stores and trying on glasses while the salesperson sort of hovers over me, and I like more than 30 seconds to actually figure out whether I like the glasses.
So with the Warby Parker home try-on, I was able to pick 5 pairs that I liked, put them on in the comfort of my own home, pick the one I like the most, and then Warby Parker put my prescription lenses in there for me. A lot of people don't know that the eyeglass industry is controlled by just a few big corporations that keep prices very high, like $300 for prescription glasses high, which is just insane. Warby Parker glasses start at $95. That's what mine cost. And for every pair of glasses sold, Warby Parker distributes a pair of glasses to someone in need. You can try 5 pairs and see what you like. Check out the at-home trial and support our show by going to warbyparker.com/TDPS. It costs nothing.